Okay. Mic check 1 2 1 2. I am the Y2K Collector, and I am back with a new video that I've got for you. This one is pretty much it's a pickups video, and this is just about 20 games that I wanted to go over, and these are what I would call my end of summer pickups. As you know, we're getting down towards down to the wire with summer ending, and it just, it's around this time of year you can kind of just feel a lot of your free time just drying up. You're getting ready to go into the holiday season, which means money is going to be spent. Got to get the heating bill ready. So it's just a lot of changes, right? Our lives change. It's back to school. The days get shorter, so we're spending more time indoors. Just everything changes around this time of year. And so, for me, this is around the time where I kind of wrap up a lot of my heavy lifting when it comes to video game pickups, and things really start to slow down. On top of that, I want to say that at this stage in my collecting, I feel like I've gotten a lot of the games that I want to get. I don't really see many games out. I don't really see many games that will be coming out that I feel I need to have. And so I really can see where the collecting for me is going to start to slow down. I'm very comfortable with my library, and I really want to just start focusing on really conquering what's in my library and really diving deeper into the games that I have. Now, I did want to talk for a quick second just with regards to pickups. I can totally appreciate a good deal. Whenever I go video game hunting, I try my best to find it as cheap as possible, but it just so happens that a lot of the games that I like, I just don't find them in the wild. And sure, I could spend days and weeks and months searching and hunting to try and find certain games, but to me, there's a time value factor when it comes to money. And, I value my time. I put an hourly dollar amount, towards how much I think time, I would spend, looking for a game. And if I'm going to spend more time looking for something, and it's going to cost me more in time as opposed to just buying it either on Mercari or OfferUp or even eBay, I'd rather just take the $5 to $10 hit on eBay and just get it over with than spend 3, 4, 5 hours or days, which really winds up costing me more in terms of money, because that time could have been spent doing something a little more productive. So like making another video. So a lot of these are games that came in pre-order. A lot of them were online pickups. Some I did find in local game shops, but for me, I try to find the most balanced deal, the best deal that's not going to cost me a whole week of driving around trying to find the game. On top of that, I'm not in an area where there are a ton of like local game stores, and I don't have a lot of Goodwills near me that carry video games, nor do I have a lot of thrift stores or consignment stores that carry video games. So the opportunity for me to find something that I like in the wild is very, very tough. It's very rare. And so I typically find the games that I want on some type of online forum, whether it be, like I said, one of the eShops, some form of trade. If there's a game store that has a website, I'll check that. But for me, I just try to find the most balanced deal. So without any more jabbering, I'm just going to get into my pickups. Now, I've got 20 games here, and it's a mix. I've got games ranging from the Switch to the PlayStation 2 to the PSP, even for Sega Saturn. So let's go ahead and dive in and take a look at some of what I've gotten. So we're going to kick things off right here with the first pickup, and that is going to be Last Bronx. Last Bronx is a game that I wanted to get. I wanted to check this out. I did want to get the English version of the game, but it had gone up so much since the last time I had looked at it. I think it's like $100 or so. And you can easily get a copy, an import of the game for about $15, and that's where I was able to land on this one. And this is a fighting game, right? So it's a 3D fighting game based on, the Bronx, and I thought that was very interesting. You don't really find a lot of games based on the Bronx. You see a lot of games based on New York or LA, Miami, but specifically the Bronx, you don't find it. So I thought this was interesting, and I wanted to have it in my collection. So the Last Bronx, I do have an import. I have a Japanese Sega Saturn, so I'll have no problems playing this, and I really look forward to diving in. So The Last Bronx. And that was the only Saturn game that I've gotten. Moving right along, let's jump into the PSP. So for the PSP, I was able to pick up a limited edition copy of Death Jr. This is made by Konami. This is an open world, like 3D platform type game, adventure game. So this is really cool for the PSP. Don't have a ton of these on the PSP that aren't like a Ratchet and Clank type game or a Jak and Daxter type game. So sometimes those feel like the only open world kind of like adventure games that you get. I thought that this was cool, so I wanted to grab it, picked it up. Next up for the PSP, this is another PSP grab, Chili Con Carnage. This is one that I wanted to have on the PSP. Actually, when I first bought my PSP, this was one that I wanted to get and just never got around to it. And so I knew I needed to get it before the end of the summer, before the price on this just shoots through the roof. It's already getting up there somewhat. But this is a really cool action-based kind of run and gun shooter type game. You're running around. It has a really cool slow down feature. It reminds me of Max Payne. But this is a really cool one. And I grabbed that up for the PSP. Okay, next up we have another beat 'em up type adventure game. This is a classic. This is also available on the PS2, but we have The Warriors on the PSP. And this was a really cool pickup as well, based on the old school 1970s gangs of New York. And just, you know, you're out there. It's a beat 'em up, basically, like a brawler adventure type game. Reminds me of Grand Theft Auto. It is made by Rockstar, so you are going to get that feel on that. And this is one that I wanted to add as well. And all these PSP games come complete in box with the manual. I've already done my whole wipe down of them, just trying to stay safe and make sure that everything gets disinfected. All right, so now we're going to move on to the PlayStation 2 pickups, and I have a wide range of pickups here, so I think you're going to like this. First up is a Capcom game, Devil Kings for PlayStation 2. This is like a hack and slash Dynasty Warriors type of game here. If you follow the channel, you know that I'm all about these types of games, and I don't know if I'm intentionally trying to collect every type of game like this, but this is one that I came across. It was very cheap, about $11. You can pick this up. So snag this, Devil Kings on the PlayStation 2. Just trying to beef up that PS2 collection before it just explodes, because I can easily see the PlayStation 2 becoming the next thing that people go nuts over. Here we go. Here's another pickup, Star Wars Episode 3. This was a very clean copy. Really love this one here. And I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I don't talk about it on the page a lot, but I love the whole concept of the Force, the dark side. I've always been into that. As a matter of fact, I remember when I was a kid, my father used to always have a bunch of VHS tapes. And I actually, was the first Star Wars movie I ever saw, and I didn't even realize it was Star Wars because I was so young, but I started off my Star Wars fandom with watching The Empire Strikes Back. And I just remember Han Solo and the whole concept. And I just remember feeling like I need to see what the rest of this is about, because I knew there were more movies around the Star Wars series, but I was just so young, and, I didn't know how to get my hands on any more of those VHS tapes. But, I have since watched the rest of it, and Star Wars is a great, great series. It's a great story. And so I love whenever I can pick up a Star Wars game. And again, these are very cheap, $10-11. Was able to snag this up. Very clean copy. And all these copies are complete in box with the manual. I would say at the very least an 8 out of 10. Next up, we have another cheap one here, but a fun adventure game. This is just a very fun looking adventure game. Brave, The Search for Spirit Dancer. So this is like a 3D adventure game, kind of platformer type of game. Very cool, very fun on the PlayStation 2, very cheap as well. So I went ahead and snagged that up. This is one I wanted to check out. So Brave added that to the PlayStation 2 collection. We have another one that kind of feels very similar. We have Vex on the PlayStation 2. This one's by Acclaim. You're just this character here that you see. He's got some really cool moves. Some of the moves in this game remind me of like Super Mario 64. A lot of action-based attacks, big, broad levels. I love the graphics, especially for PlayStation 2. So excited to dive into this adventure game. Vex on the PlayStation 2. Then we have another type of hack and slash. Y'all know that I love those. Adventure game, Demon Stone. This is one that I wanted to get. Again, cheap. Gotta love the cheap. Gotta love how cheap PlayStation 2, how easy it is to collect for the PlayStation 2, because a lot of good games for very, very cheap. And Demon Stone is one that I wanted to check out, so I snagged that up. 3 powers, 1 unstoppable force. So, made by Atari, little hack and slash action. Excited to dive into that. Next up, we have one from a franchise that I think many are familiar with, and this is Soul Reaver 2. So I had Soul Reaver both on PlayStation 1 and I had it on the Dreamcast, but I never really got around to getting part 2 on the PlayStation 2. And so this one was another, again, very cheap find. Was able to snag this up, and I'm excited to dive into this one. You know, the whole lore around Soul Reaver, guy trying to get his soul back. It's just a very interesting game. Liked it, wanted to have it, added it to the collection. Next up, this game just gives me a lot of nostalgic vibes. I've never played this game, but the cover, I remember seeing this cover all over the place back in the day, and that's Whiplash. And Whiplash is a very cool adventure game. You run around and you attack people with this bunny that you've got on a chain, and you know, just very action based, a lot of levels, platforming involved in this game. So very cool game. Went ahead and picked that up. Whiplash on the PlayStation 2. Next up, I love me a good beat 'em up. You know, I'm a beat 'em up fan, and this was one that I wanted to add. This is Bouncer. And I remember when this game came out, was a lot of hype around this game back in the day on the PlayStation 2. Was able to get this one, another cheap PlayStation 2 find. But Bouncer is a really fun game. It's a beat 'em up, right? So you can, you know, got your moves there. A set of moves, you run around beating everyone up, going through the levels. Made by Squaresoft, so you know Squaresoft has put out some real nice bangers, so definitely check out the Bouncer. This is the second part to a series that I had already started getting, or I had gotten part 1 of this game, so I felt it was only right to get part 2, and that's Drakengard 2. Love my hack and slash, and I already have Drakengard. Wanted to get part 2. Part 2 feels like the Dynasty Warriors mixed with Panzer Dragoon. You just kind of get the best of both of those games in this one game. And if you like Panzer Dragoon, if you like the Dynasty Warriors series, then you'll like Drakengard 2. A lot of cool fighting elements in this game. Hack and slash. Get to ride dragons. Very cool. Check it out. Drakengard 2. And then this last game, this was one that I had, sold it, and got it back just because you got to love the gameplay here on this game. And I actually mentioned this in one of my recent videos, but Blood Will Tell, extremely clean copy of Blood Will Tell. Needed to get it back in the collection. Again, I see where the PlayStation 2 is going, and this is a gem. This is a true gem. If you love action, if you love fighters, if you like hack and slash, this is a very, very fun game to get on the PlayStation 2, and I would recommend it to anyone who's thinking about jumping into the PS2 collecting. So Blood Will Tell. All right, so that does it for the PS2 pickups. Now we're just going to dive really quickly into some pre-orders. Love when the pre-orders come in, and these came in, and so excited to get into these. The first up is for the PS Vita, and that is Knit. Just a very colorful, art-based type of adventure game, and I love games like this. You know, if you follow the channel, you've seen me talk about Gris. That's a game that's very interesting. It's like that. There's another game that came out on the Wii that reminds me of that type of just very artistic adventure game. So wanted to have this on the Vita. East Asia Soft exclusive, so definitely check that out if you get a chance. I know there's a lot of Vita fans still out there, so check out Knit. May be sold out already, but I'm not sure, but double check. And then we're gonna end it all off with the Switch pre-orders, which we gotta love the Switch. Now, first one, this one has already been out for a while, but took me forever to get my copy. But this is Cotton Reboot. Came out for the Switch. I think it came out. You could pick it up on Strictly Limited's website. It's not a Strictly Limited game, but this is a reboot to the Cotton series. I actually have Cotton 2 on the Sega Saturn. I love me a good shmup, and so this is like a kind of like a cute 'em up shmup. And this is one that I picked up on the Switch. It was a pre-order that came in. Then we have a more hardcore shmup for our hardcore shmup lovers, Darius Cosmic Revelation. We know that Strictly Limited released the Darius series, Sagaya, and then I think Darius, the console, I think it was like the console and the arcade version. Well, this is Darius Cosmic Revelation, just another installment in the Darius series. I am a shmup fanatic. I'm really trying to get my hands on most, if not all of them. And so this was one that I pre-ordered. Glad to see it come in. This was something that I pre-ordered almost a year ago. It feels like it took forever to get here, but finally got my copy of Bite the Bullet. And this is like a very, very fun run and gun shooter. This is like Contra on steroids. And you know, it's just a very fun game. If you haven't had a chance to play it, I downloaded it because it was taking so long to come, and I was playing the download version. But you like kill people, you can eat them, you can gain too much weight. It's like another form of Metal Slug. But it's fun. So check it out. A lot of cool moves in this one, cool guns, cool weapons. Bite the Bullet on the Nintendo Switch. Check that out. And then I was really happy when this came in. No More Heroes 3. This is a common one. You can grab this up at Best Buy, but I had it on pre-order and it finally arrived. I love the artwork on this No More Heroes 3. This recently released. You can definitely grab this. Probably could just go online and pick it up from Best Buy or GameStop. But this is a really cool one that came out for the Switch. Glad to introduce this into the collection. And then last but not least, finally, I love certain special editions. I don't do special editions often, but this is one I had to have, and that's Scott Pilgrim, right? Versus the World of Game. And this is the complete edition. It comes in a very nostalgic Sega Genesis type box. So Scott Pilgrim by Limited Run. Check that out. And that does it for this week's pickups. Let me know down in the comments what some of your end of summer pickups are, and I will see you in the next video. Again, I'm the Y2K Collector. Hope you have a good one.